it's Lisa. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm thrilled that you're here. Today, I wanted to share 5 changes that I made in my wellness routine in my 50s to feel my best today at 60. And some of these changes I really wish that I would have made sooner, especially the last one, because it's been the biggest game changer for me. So be sure to stay tuned till the end when I share that, because honestly, that is the one that has helped me to feel most like myself again in midlife. So my name is Lisa King. I've been a pharmacist for 37 years, and I love nothing more than empowering women to look and feel their best at every stage of life. I've been on a healthy living trajectory for about 10 years now. I had a hysterectomy when I was 49, and that really just felt like the time where I said to myself, okay, now is the time that you need to start taking care of your health. And so this didn't come all overnight. It was just tiny changes that led to big results in better health for myself. And I keep incorporating new things all of the time. So at that time, even though I was a healthcare provider, I felt like I didn't really know a lot about health in general, how, longevity, vibrant aging. So this all became really on my radar. I started reading books, studying herbalism. I studied herbalism. I started listening to podcasts, so many different things. So the first thing that I actually started with was what I put on my skin. My mom and my sister are both breast cancer survivors. So what you put on your skin is so important. I see this overlooked so much sometimes with women who are on a healthy living trajectory, but still buying, drugstore makeup, not really looking at ingredients in makeup. So it's really important to look at the ingredients in what you're putting on your skin. Things like parabens, phthalates, mineral oil can be all linked to hormone disruption, even perfume. That's one of the biggest ones for me, because I've even seen perfume in some things that claim to be organic or healthy beauty. So look for that perfume as well. These can all disrupt hormones, and it can even increase chances of having more symptoms from autoimmune disease. So look for these ingredients: parabens, phthalates, mineral oil, perfume, and try to avoid those as much as possible. Now it's really kind of easier than it was about 10 years ago for me, because there's so many clean beauty products and they're available just about everywhere. So if you are on that healthy living trajectory, really look at what you're putting on your skin, because it can even, be linked to inflammation in your body, that hormone disruption, as I said. So that's really important. The next thing I did was really start reducing sugar. So sugar can be tied to so many different disease states. So things like diabetes, prediabetes, heart disease, cognitive function, all linked back to to cancer, because it can be linked to cancer as well, linked to sugar. So I was a mom who baked every day. That's how I showed my love for my family. So for me to cut back on sugar, this was something that was not an easy feat. I used to come home from 12-hour days at the pharmacy, and I would have ice cream at 12, after a 12-hour day. So this was not anything that was easy, but I started reading labels. So that was the biggest thing that I did, was I started reading labels, and I went for the American Heart Association recommendation of 25 grams a day of sugar for women and 37.5 for men. And this is a starting point. So I've actually cut way back from there. So use this as a starting point if you've never looked at sugar labels, because there's sugar in everything. So many people at the pharmacy would always say to me, I don't have a sweet tooth, when I would bring up sugar at the pharmacy. But you don't have to have a sweet tooth. Even things like yogurt, granola, protein bars can all have about 15 grams of sugar each. So if you think about it, if you're having yogurt for breakfast topped with a bit of granola and then a protein bar later in the day, that's 45 grams of sugar, and you're already over your sugar limit for the day. So really look at those labels. You don't necessarily want to go for no sugar, because sugar alcohol, those usually end in OL. If they have sugar alcohol in them, that can really upset your stomach. So you don't want to do that either. Just kind of avoid sugar. Go for nature's candy, which are berries, which are low in sugar. Some fruits are higher in sugar, but this is added sugar. So berries are a great way to go. Blueberries are my absolute favorite. Next, I started following a circadian fast and not eating after dinner. So this is really important to just help inflammation in your body. And you don't even have to be really harsh on yourself with your fasting. I see a lot of women who go from, fasting 16-hour days to 18 hours to 20 to down to 1 meal a day to lose weight. But honestly, even just fasting 12 hours, giving your gut that reset can really be helpful to reduce inflammation, give your brains, a chance to rest so it's not thinking about digestion. It can help with cognition as well, that brain fog, feeling less bloated. I usually wind up about a 14-hour fast or so. We eat dinner really early at night. So that's one of my biggest tips, is to not eat dinner later if you can. I know sometimes for some people with their schedule, it's just not possible. But eat dinner earlier. So we finish dinner around 5:30, and then I usually probably don't eat again until about 7 or 7:30 in the morning. So that's about a 14-hour fast. My other big tip is, in order to avoid eating later at night, I used to be what I called a nighttime nibbler. I honestly didn't even know why I was eating at night, but I was eating at night. In order not to nibble at night, have that little bit of dessert if you want to, right after dinner. So, have those blueberries, a little bit of dark chocolate, that cup of tea. And really, if you're full, you really don't want to go looking for anything later in the evening. Even frozen blueberries are super delicious. And you can even top with like just a little bit of gluten-free granola, something like that. And it's a really great way to finish off your meal and not feel hungry later on. The next thing is increasing protein. And I was always the queen of salads, so I would always reach for a salad. The protein was just a little sprinkling on the top, but now I make protein the star of the show. So I don't necessarily count how many grams of protein I'm having a day. When I was doing that, I found I was really overeating and I was actually gaining weight. So now I just make sure that protein is the star of the show. So I'll have eggs in the morning. I have a beef protein smoothie bowl. I have that linked in my Amazon and also my FullScript account. It's Designs for Sport beef protein. There's no added fillers in it, and it's really my go-to. I may even have that for lunch. And then for dinner, we'll always have something like chicken, beef, salmon. Salmon is my favorite. I could have that every day with a salad. So I make, the salad, the accompaniment. We might even have a little bit of squash, and then the main focus on the protein. Also for lunch, same thing. I might have a salad, but make sure it has a lot of salmon on top, that type of thing. So make sure that you're having protein. A lot of people recommend about 30 grams of per meal of protein per day for women in midlife, because it's so important for bone strength and for muscle strength as well. Now, this is my last tip, and this one has been a game changer for me. About 2 years ago, I had so much inflammation in my body. And this was not due to eating cookies and cake and you name it. This was due to having too much Greek yogurt. And so I was gaining weight. I was on this healthy living trajectory, couldn't figure it out. I had my DNA tested and learned that I was gluten and dairy lactose intolerant. So all of the lactose I was having, the cottage cheese, the dairy from yogurt, were all increasing inflammation in my body. And so when I removed those, I started to finally release weight. And still to this day, when I have more whole foods and not processed foods with gums, fillers, things like xanthan gum, guar gum, I'm able to feel less bloated, clear, release that weight, have less inflammation. I just honestly didn't feel like myself. So this has been a game changer for me. So if you can steer away from those protein bars, I understand sometimes you have to have them if you're on the run, but not as a meal replacement. Have things that are, like I said, the salad with the big piece of salmon on top, or the salmon for dinner with a little bit of salad, whatever it may be. Eggs for breakfast, the beef protein powder. It's all so important to reduce inflammation in your body. And I promise you, when you start eating this way, you'll start seeing results very quickly. Sometimes when I get a bit off course, if I'm traveling and I go back to removing the processed foods, it really is just, game changing for me. So I wanted to share this all with you. And I also have a free gift for you, my 7-day gut reset. So this is a very gentle approach to just tuning into your body, getting to know your body, how your body feels, what foods may affect you, so that you can feel clearer, lighter, and more grounded in 7 days. Be sure to stay tuned. I would love for you to subscribe here. I have videos coming every single week, and I love nothing more than sharing. You can also follow me on Instagram too. So stay tuned for much more, and I hope to see you soon.